Hey, guys, girls, everybody in between. Welcome. My name is Mr. C or Mr. Cychowski. You don't have me as your teacher. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to get started with our reading program. So, what you're going to need is your composition notebook and access to the book you're going to be reading. Either that's a physical copy or digital access, but whatever it is, you're going to want it on hand for when I show you how to set up your goal for this first week. In addition to that, I'm also going to show you how to record your reading progress so your teacher can see it, and then also make sure that's being shared so that your teacher can see how you are doing, ask you questions about your reading, and you can get that grade. So let's jump into it. To start us off, I just want to talk about this guy, James Baldwin. So there's two real schools of thought as to why reading is so important in this class. One side is that we need to improve, we need to constantly getting better. It's more about getting stronger where we are already strong or weak, just because later on in life, reading is going to be a big part of whatever we slot ourselves into doing. There's also more flowery, like you would call them like spiritual almost reasons as to like why I think this stuff is important. I said before, writing can be like medicine. I feel the exact same way about reading. So James Baldwin does a really good job of phrasing this. He said, "You think your pain and your heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read. It was books that taught me that the things that tormented me the most were the very things that connected me to all the people that were alive, who had ever been alive." Basically saying that, the world can be a lonely place. And, without even like social connections now, especially, books can be a place where we could find people like us going through things that we have gone through, and just to remind us that it can get better, or that we aren't so alone in this journey. So starting with that, now, next, got to get into those measurable reasons, those tangible ways that we are going to see if we're getting better or not. I'm an athlete at heart, been for a while, still am, and I'm going to bring that up a lot. The athlete side of me needs like those numbers, needs those stats to know, am I getting better? Am I going backward? What can I adjust along the way to see if I'm getting close to my goal? So what you're going to do in a moment here is go to the Google Classroom. Yours might look a little bit different just because I got the teacher view on. Now you could just click this, the new materials that I posted, but in case this gets bogged down later on this semester and piled on by a bunch of other stuff, where you can go is to classwork up here. And then right here under all our topics, one of our topics is the reading program. So if you click on that, here you'll find your first reading log. Now, if you just click on this, I'm the owner of this document. I made this. And so you won't be able to edit on this like I can. What you need to do is to open a brand new tab. Go to your Google Drive. So that's right here, this little triangle guy. And you're going to want to create a new folder. This folder is just like a real folder you would keep for this class, except it's all your digital stuff, all the material you're going to be creating. So I'm going to put my first and last name, so Mr. First name, Cychowski is my last name. English 10, or if I have you for creative writing, call it that too. So we're going to create that. Now we got a little folder here or somewhere in your drive where you can keep all of your stuff. Now we're going to go back to that Google Classroom, back to that reading log that we can't edit yet. And what you're going to do is you're basically going to make a copy of this. So you're going to go to File, Make a Copy. And you're going to want to rename this one too. So instead of copy of Q1 poster reading log, what you could call it is your first and last name. So mine again is Mr. And boom, now we've got Mr. Cychowski's Q1 reading log poster. You're going to want to put this in that folder you just created. So down here, you get to choose where it goes. I got a ton of stuff. Oh, look, right there, Mr. Cychowski's English 10 folder. So you're going to click on that. And it's like you just made a photocopy and you put it in that folder. Now, you're going to want to go to your folder that you just created. You're going to see your reading log there. And then you're going to want to share this folder with me or your teacher, whoever's going to be grading your reading log. That way, as you make updates to this thing, they'll be able to see the progress as well. So here I've got my email already for my students who need that. That is Cychowski. Well, not Cychowj at Milwaukee. K12.us. Share it with me so that way I could keep track of how your reading progress is going. And next, we are going to set a reading goal. To set a goal for this first week, you're going to want to have access to your book, be it digital or a physical copy, right next to you. Open up to wherever you're at, get comfortable. I have to emphasize how important it is to consider your set and setting when we do this. So make sure you're not being distracted by things that normally distract you. Make sure you maybe found a quieter place where you may be to do this. Alternatively, I'm not looking for you to speed read while you're doing this. We're trying to get a baseline. We're trying to just see where we're at today. So just read at a pace that you would normally read at. Now would be a good time to pause this video, set a timer for 10 minutes like I got here, and find out how many pages you could read in this 10 minutes. So wherever you're at, go ahead and add up the number of pages you just read. In my book that I'm reading right now, Hard Laughter by Anne Lamott, I just happened to have read 5 pages in those 10 minutes. Now, you might have got something that was less. You might have gotten something that was more. Either way, that number is totally up to you. You might not read the same number of pages as your neighbor, just because, even if you're in the same book. So, again, this is a completely personal goal. We want to remember that equation that we saw in the reading standards and expectation sheet. So that looks like this. You'll also find it at the bottom of your reading log to help you out. So our goal for every week is to read about 140 minutes. Now that 140 comes from the 2 hours that you're reading outside of class and the 10 minutes we spend reading at the start of every class. You just read for 10 minutes. So this is where you'll put the number that you just read. So in my case, in 10 minutes, I read 5 pages. And then you can just multiply straight across. So 5 times 14, that's 70. Your goal might be different. Again, you're just taking whatever number of pages you just read in 10 minutes, multiply that by 14, and that's how you'll find your goal for this week. Once you have your goal figured out, go ahead and go back to that document. Again, make sure it's the one that you made a copy of, so it's titled under your name. And here you'll always find that equation that tells us how to find our goal for the week. Whenever you switch books, you're always going to want to adjust your goal. Or if you're just killing your goals or if they're just killing you, make sure to maybe readjust or recalculate, because maybe you got faster, maybe you got a little bit slower, whatever it may be. You could always run that 10-minute exercise again to see what your goal actually is for this week. So my goal is 70 pages. Then you're going to want to go ahead and type in the title of your book. So mine, again, is called Hard After by and the Mott. Cool. And then we're going to move over here to our first day, so Monday. If you're in the middle of your book, you're going to put in whatever page you started the 10 minutes on. So I was already reading this book. I started on page 5. So I'm going to put a 5 in there. 2. And I don't know what page I'm going to leave off on. I might still read some more today, but say I just stopped for today. Then I would put in a 10 because I read 5 pages. Probably going to read more than that, to be honest. But just to show you guys this example. So then if we come over to Tuesday, tomorrow, I'll open up this document again, and I'll put down that I'm starting on page 10, and then I will fill in whatever page I end up on, depending on how long I read that day. All right, and so that is all I want to leave you guys with today. Continue to read, continue to log. Me or your respective English teacher will show you how to add up your week, see if you reached your goal or not. And again, this is the data. This is the important numbers that show us where the hiccups are, where you're doing well, where do you need some more help. And, just like the reading conferences that we'll do and the reflections that you'll do every week, they're clues to let us know, like, is that the right book for you? We don't want you sitting there bored. So, if the goal is killing you and you're not killing it, maybe that's a sign that you need to be in a different book. So we'll continue to help you. Use us as a resource. But for now, enjoy your reading journeys.